America's causing millions and millions of immigrants to flock the U.S. Once again, America's foreign policy has created millions and millions and billions of people over decades into America. Here's a real true story of myself. I'm from Iran, and we had to escape our country because of U.S. foreign policy by overthrowing a democratic elected government and installing a U.S. puppet, the Shah, which allowed the U.S. and U.K. to extract Iranian resources. So that caused my family to flee to America. And I can tell you other stories of my friends that I know that are from El Salvador, or they're from Guatemala, or they're from other parts of Latin America, or they're from Middle East, that exactly same story has happened. There's a lot of people in Latin America that come to America because of the foreign policies that we have in those countries. For example, there's places in Latin America that our corporations went overthrew governments because they wanted to grow bananas, or they want to export the coffee, or whatever the story may be. So the end of the story is that U.S. foreign policy has caused billions of Americans, refugees, to come to America. So you have one sector that talks crap about refugees coming to America. Well, look at these immigrants, not realizing that their own government are the primary reason why all these people are coming to a different country. No one in their right mind wants to leave their own native country, go to a different country where they don't speak the language, learn a whole new culture, learn how to read, how to do all that stuff brand new, start from the bottom and start washing dishes as a dishwasher, even at back home you're a doctor. No one wants to do that. They do that because of fear of their lives. And the reason that is because of America's foreign policies. For example, as Iran, as I told you, America had a coup funded with the CIA, funded with Great Britain to overthrow the Iranian government. And I am a residual side effect of why I live here. If that wasn't the case, me and my whole family would still be living in Iran versus coming here. And I'm not the only one. There's millions and millions and millions and millions of people that has happened the same way. I was at the park yesterday with my kids talking to a family. They escaped Iran too. So more and more refugees are coming to America because of our own policies. And then end of the day, Americans here have to pay for them, because you got to pay more to pay for these immigrants, to pay for the security blanket they need to be able to get on their feet. My parents came here and they got on food stamp maybe for a year or two, and then eventually started their own businesses, and they worked hard. Now they employ people. So not all refugees are, come here to eat off government cheese, but at the same time, they're going to need a level of blankets safety for the first year or two for them to get back on their feet. Because you got to think about it. For example, in the situation of my parents, they came here, they didn't speak the language, they didn't even know how to read the road signs, so they had to learn everything brand new, from driving to reading, everything, creating a living. My dad came to America, he was selling ice cream in an ice cream truck, right, until he worked his way up. And this is the story for many people. Some people come here and they never work their way up because it becomes extremely hard for them to work their way up, learning a new language, learn a new culture. And many of us will become a lot less than we were in our own country. So the story of all these immigrants coming here and, they want the free cheese is absolutely nuts. The U.S. government has created a situation worldwide because they want to extract natural resources from all these different countries, which has causes massive immigration. And one great example right now in today's era is Ukraine. Millions of Ukrainians are dead. Millions of Ukrainians have fled. This is because of NATO-led America that caused millions of refugees. So this game plan has been going on around 50, 60 years, where America is creating millions of refugees. And the side effect is some of those people come to the U.S. Some of them go to France, some of them go to UK, some of them go to Germany. And that's why these G7 countries have a flux of immigrants coming to them, because they're the ones that created the mess. And now the roosters are coming home to lay the eggs. And in a sense. So, if you want to have less immigrants in the world, well, stop meddling in other countries. Stop trying to extract their resources. Stop trying to throw their governments away. If you don't like the way they dress, great. If you don't like their belief system, great. Let them figure it out. Let us not be the world police and putting our dicks in everyone's, business because they like to eat with their hands versus we like to eat with our spoons. Who gives a shit? If they like to eat with their hands, let them be, dude. If we like to eat with the spoons, great. It doesn't mean that we're better or they're better. We just do it differently. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, some people make steak with just salt, and some people make steak with curry and lime juice and all kinds of flavor. You know what I mean? Some people like it more flavory than other people. So it's none of our business to say your taste bud is better than my taste buds or your taste buds is weaker than my taste bud. And because of our elitist belief system, we have caused massive refugees all over the world. We have thrown millions of people out of their countries. We have extracted millions of resources, and that's why we're able to be obese people in America. We can live on debt. We can live on money that we haven't worked for. We can have riches. We can have cars we haven't paid for. We can have houses that we haven't bought and paid for. We can get a college education that we haven't paid for. All we got to do is make the minimum monthly payments, because millions of people around the world have to suffer for us to do that. Think about that. Thank you, guys.